Hey everyone. So, we're going to talk about something that every single one of us goes through, but can still feel kind of mysterious, and that's adolescence. Let's make this your go to guide for understanding all the incredible changes happening, both on the outside and on the inside.
Does a conversation like this sound familiar? You ever notice how a friend just shoots up in height all of a sudden? Or their voice sounds totally different? Or maybe you look in the mirror and see a few pimples that weren't there yesterday, or the start of a mustache. Well, these moments are the universal signs that the journey of adolescence is officially underway. So, how are we going to make sense of all this? Here's our roadmap. We'll start with what this journey is all about. Then we'll look at the physical road signs, navigate what's happening on the inside, explore the new emotional world, pack a toolkit for staying healthy, and finally, get to the why behind it all. Okay, first up, what exactly is this stage we call adolescence? Well, just like being a baby or being a full-grown adult, it's its own unique and super important period of growth that's basically the bridge from childhood to adulthood. So, the official definition is that adolescence is the time when your body goes through a whole bunch of changes to get ready for reproductive maturity. This usually kicks off around age 10 and goes all the way up to about 19. Yeah, that's almost a whole decade of transformation. All right, now for the part you can actually see. These physical changes, think of them like road signs. They're just letting you know that you're on the right path and your body is developing exactly the way it's supposed to. Let's break these road signs down. For boys, you'll start to notice things like your voice getting deeper, that's the Adam's apple doing its thing, and maybe some facial hair starting to pop up. For girls, a really key change is the development of breasts. And then there's stuff that happens to everyone, a sudden growth spurt, maybe some pimples on your face, and new hair growing in places like your armpits and the pubic region. And this is super important to remember. Your friend might get way taller a full year before you do, or you might see changes that they haven't yet. That is completely 100% normal. Everybody's body has its own unique schedule for this journey. There's no right or wrong time for any of this to happen. Now, inside this whole big journey of adolescence, there's a specific process called puberty. This is when your body really kicks all those physical changes into high gear. Things like a deeper voice or breast development, those are called secondary sexual characteristics. They're basically the signs you can see that show your body is maturing. So, we've talked about all the stuff you can see on the outside, but trust me, there's just as much going on inside, even if you can't see it. Let's dive into some of the crucial internal changes that are happening. For girls, one of the most significant internal changes is the beginning of the menstrual cycle, and it's really important to know this is a totally natural sign that shows good reproductive health. The cycle usually repeats itself about every 28 to 30 days, and the part with the blood discharge, that's called menstruation or period, typically lasts for a few days. It's a perfectly normal, healthy part of growing up. You know, there are so many myths out there that can make menstruation seem scary or shameful. But here's the absolute fact. It is just a biological process. It's like breathing or your body digesting food. There is zero scientific reason for any of those myths, and just understanding the facts is the best way to feel confident and healthy. This whole journey of adolescence isn't just physical. Nope. It's also a time of huge emotional growth. You're basically exploring a brand new internal landscape of feelings, which can be really exciting and, yeah, sometimes a little confusing too. You might notice your emotions feel way, way stronger than they did when you were a kid. One minute you could be on top of the world, and the next, feeling a bit down. We call those mood swings, and they are super common. But this emotional shift also brings a lot of awesome things, like a huge spike in curiosity, developing real passions for new hobbies, and feeling more compassion for others, which might even get you involved in causes you really care about. So, with all these changes happening, how do you navigate it all with confidence? Well, you need the right tools. So let's put together a healthy traveler's toolkit to help you get through this journey feeling strong and totally supported. Your toolkit has 5 essential items. First, fueling your body with the right food. Second, keeping up with personal hygiene and staying active. Third, figuring out your social life. And number 5, a really crucial one, learning how and when to say no. Okay, your body is growing like crazy right now, so it needs the right fuel. Think of it like building a house. You need good materials. Calcium and protein from things like milk are essential for building strong bones, while iron, which you can get from foods like spinach and beans, is absolutely vital for healthy blood. Personal hygiene also becomes a bigger deal. This just means regular washing. especially in areas where you might sweat a bit more. For girls, managing menstrual hygiene is key for staying healthy and comfortable. That means using things like sanitary pads and, this is really important, disposing of them the right way, by wrapping them up and putting them in a bin. Never flush them.
Your social world is probably expanding like crazy, especially online. The key is just to be responsible. That means be kind, think before you post something, and always protect your personal info. But here's the most critical part. If you ever experience cyberbullying, do not just tolerate it. It is not okay. The best and most important thing you can do is get help from a parent, a teacher, or another adult you trust.
Now let's talk about that last tool, learning to say no. This quote is so powerful because it is so true. Addiction rarely starts with some big, dramatic decision. It almost always starts with a small one. Trying something harmful just one time, maybe because of curiosity or pressure from friends. The bottom line is really simple. Your health and your future are in your hands. Substances like tobacco, alcohol, or other drugs can do serious damage. Being firm and confident in your decision to just say no is honestly one of the most powerful and wise choices you can make for yourself. Okay, so we have covered the what, the where, and the how of adolescence. But that leaves one massive question. Why? What is the engine that's actually driving all of these incredible changes in your body, your mind, and your emotions? The answer is hormones. You can think of them as tiny chemical messengers that are released by your brain and other parts of your body. They travel all around and tell your body when to grow, how to develop, and even how to feel. They are the master controllers behind puberty and this entire journey. So when you boil it all down, this whole journey of adolescence is the training ground for adulthood. All these changes, the physical, the emotional, the social, they're all getting you ready for what comes next. So the final question I want to leave you with is this. Knowing what you know now, what choices are you going to make along the way to build the strongest, healthiest foundation for the amazing life that's waiting for you?